Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, thank you to the witnesses. Republicans talk a lot about the market, but it's really important that we have healthy competition in the labor market. Mr. Sojourner, you published a paper recently that found higher labor market concentration led to lower wages. So why are competitive markets so crucial to ensure that workers are paid fairly for their labor? Can you respond?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. Competition between employers is crucial for a healthy labor market and for workers to have strong earning opportunities. The labor market, by its nature, a lot of things push it against competition because it has where you go, you have to work in a physical place often. And so labor markets can be very local, and you might have a lot of skill in a particular area, and there might not be a lot of employers who need that skill in that local area. So we think about the labor market as one big market, but actually it's a lot of little markets, and they can be quite thin and non-competitive. And so more competition gives workers power to achieve improvements in their job quality, either by negotiating improvements with a credible threat to take a better job outside, or by actually taking one of those better jobs outside and leaving.
So let me move on. I've got a series of questions for you.
Sure.
So it's really not enough to just have folks with bachelor's degrees doing well in the economy, but in the same paper you found that employees were posting job vacancies for higher skills but lower wages in less competitive local job markets. Why do these employers in more concentrated labor markets think that they can get away with hiring higher skilled workers for less, and how do we make sure that all workers have access to good paying jobs?
Thank you. Again, the employers in thin labor markets where there's not a lot of competition, where there's maybe a few big employers who are the only place you can work with those set of skills, there's not enough competition, there's not enough of potential employers to counteroffer, and so those employers have some wage setting power. It's not a very competitive market, and they can underpay workers below what they produce, and we should try to get more competition in labor markets and restrict non-compete agreements, do more antitrust enforcement, encourage more entrepreneurship. All these things contribute.
So the competition would increase the availability. Then let me ask you. Before I do that, let me just say that an analysis of the construction industry revealed that 12.4% or 20.5% of the workforce on an average month of 2017 were misclassified as independent contractors or working off the books and putting law-abiding employers at a disadvantage. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter a letter from the Construction Employers of America supporting actions taken by the Wage and Hour Division to level the playing field, if I may do that.
Without objection.
Thank you. Dr. Sojourner, you participated as a working group member for the Job Quality Measurement Initiative, in which the Department of Labor solicited input from external partners. What principles do you, when you think of what it means to have a good job, what principles do you think are important, and how does that inform how you think of the health of today's labor market?
We have to pay attention to what workers value and measure it, monitor it, and try to make sure they're getting it. They care about wages. They also care about fringe benefits, health and safety at work, control over how they do their work, their schedule, their location, their pace. And these things tend to move together, but they're not always the same. And these administrative actions can help promote fair competition that make sure workers get the things they value and are entitled to.
Thank you, sir. So what do you say about the implications of deregulation for our workers, and how does not enforcing the law impact workers' loss in pay? I've got 10 seconds.
When the rules don't get enforced and are ignored, competition gets rough and people get hurt, and it's not fair. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Ms. Stevens,